Hello, 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 my friends. It's me, your boy, and today, got some kits to go over. I will say, lately I have been very, very busy. Mostly with Zenless Zone Zero. My life has been absolutely absorbed by that game for the last few days because of release, so that has been a little much, but I will say, did not stop me from getting back to some kit reveals. So after I saw the trailer, I knew I had to make this, so hope y'all enjoy. As always, do take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I do not know the numbers or the clash powers of each and every one of these skills, so the ID may or may not be better based on what I believe, because I only know so much theoretically. So, with that out of the way, let's get into this, because I am so very excited. Mersault has been eating good lately. You know, we just had Blade Lineage, probably one of the, if not the, like, best ID in the game because of what it enables that team to do and just the general strength of it with Clean Your Bones. And now he's also getting a frickin' Dieci, or DC, whatever you want to say. I say DC personally, but Dieci is probably more correct. And, you know, I love the IDs. I love all the Dieci IDs. Rodian is an incredible tank. Honglu can also take some good damage and also just put out insane amounts of damage. Admittedly, Yisang is not as great as those two. He kind of falters behind. There's no real reason to run him, in my opinion, over the other two, or in a comp. But maybe it seems they're continuing to focus on filling out the Dieci roster. Maybe we may see some team synergy coming soon, and that may bring Yisang back into the fold, but we'll see. So, without further ado, let's get right into the kit. Okay. Starting off here, we have a 2-coin, 2-coin, and then a 3-coin skill. Interesting. Usually the Dieci skills have a little bit more coins on them than average, so this one's actually a little bit lower. We have a Gluttony, Sloth, and a Gloom. Love seeing that. You know, it's got on Fluid Sac, so anytime I see Gloom, happy to see it. But let's go and get right into it. Studious Dedication, Skill 1. And then it's Blunt, Pierce, and then Blunt, interestingly enough. Blunt skill, gain insight times X% of max HP, shield if this skill is discarded. On use, discard one skill, the lowest rank in all this unit's skill slots. On use, gain insight minus X clash power. Clash when, gain erudition. On hit, inflict sinking count on the second hit. Okay. So it's basically just Rodian's skill 1, but you also gain something called erudition. That's pretty cool. I don't know what it does yet, but I'm excited for it. Skill 2, this is the Pierce skill. Deal more damage for every X insight on self. Combat start, apply erudition equal to insight on self to 2 random allies on self. Prioritizes allies with discard and has the least erudition. On use, discard 2 of this unit's skills in ascending order of ranks from all of its skill slots. On use, gain coin power for every X sinking on target. On hit, inflict sinking equal to insight times X. Okay. Well, that's exciting. Okay, so that's going to apply a lot of sinking. You get clash power for it, something they're already doing, and then also he is kind of doing a Blade Lineage Mersault thing where he's giving poise out to people. Or no, I'm thinking of Don. No, I'm thinking of Don Quixote. My bad. He's doing a Don Quixote where he's giving out buffs to people based on what their skill set is, prioritizing, of course, the Dieci IDs, and then also he's also giving them he's also prioritizing you know, if you run him in a team that doesn't have it, he's gonna still be spreading those buffs to people that don't have it, so that's really great. And also he buffs himself with it too, so even better. Sorry, had to yawn. It is like 7 in the morning. Skill 3. Scorch Knowledge. Okay, this is the big skill. Deal more damage for every X insight on self. On use, gain coin power for every X sinking on target. Before the attack, consume all erudition on self and gain the same value as additional insight. After attack at X plus insight, reset value to 1. If this skill defeats an enemy, reset value to Y instead. And then on the third hit, inflict sinking potency / count equal to insight against the target. How much of that sinking potency or count is randomly determined? Okay. Interesting. So unlike the other two characters, where you want to get to 3 insight and then you want to lock it, you know the trick. If you don't know, whenever you get to 3 insight on the other Dieci IDs, what you want to do is you want to pop a defense skill on the bottom row and then just never play that and then just keep using the top row skill. Yes, it does mean that you don't get to determine what skill you use, but it also means that they will be capped on insight forever because they can't discard a defense skill. So you're basically at full stacks for all your stuff all the time, which for the Dieci IDs is really good. This seems like they're not doing that with Mersault's ID, because it looks like he's going to spend insight whether or not you want him to with the skill 3, and also if he defeats a target, it's going to reset him back to a value of insight, which may basically be right at max stacks where you want to be. So it looks like what you want to do is you're building up insight, you're building up erudition, and then you're consuming all your erudition, turning it into insight, and then you're hitting that target really hard, inflicting not only sinking potency and count, or maybe it's and or, but even if it's or, either of those are still really good, and then you're resetting your counter back to a value of 1 or whatever that happens to be. So interesting. Okay. If erudition can buff the other Dieci IDs, they're starting to cook with something here. Because we have 4 now with Mersault being added. 4 Dieci IDs. So I mean, we're only missing like 2 more to make a full team in Mirror Dungeon. Even just 1 more would be a 5, which isn't like a full team, but it's basically a full team. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know what the plans are with Dieci. Something tells me that Dieci are going to be involved in the story soon-ish. I could be wrong, because that's not always the case. Because the Ophi were highly involved in Canto 6, but I mean, there's only 1 Ophi ID, so it doesn't really mean that much. So just speculation on my part. But let's finish the kit before I speculate more. First, we got the defense skill. It's a gloom skill. Pretty much same as the others. It discards and also gains aggro. I think that's the same across the board for them. I know that Rodian's also does. I think hers also generates aggro. I'm not sure if Honglu's does, but well, it's something. It's something. But like the amount of shield that they get and the amount that they scale based on their insight, I don't really ever see myself using defense skills with the Dieci IDs unless I like desperately need to. And even then, they're one of the few IDs that are good at taking hits with their shield defense skills. So, hey. Next thing, passive. Study Hall. It's a fun one. Every time other allies discard a skill, apply X erudition to self and the ally. Okay, there we go. Holy smokes. Alright, I was like, okay, well, the skill 2 is doing a bit of buff spreading, but you know, nothing too crazy. Yeah, there you go. Anytime a discard is happening, anytime. So every time that the other 2 or 3 or 4, however many IDs are just doing their moves, they're getting erudition. To self and ally, he's gonna stack up erudition crazy fast. And then turn end, next turn, gain pierce damage up and blunt damage up equal to the number of other allies that discarded skills. Okay, come on. Come on. Look me in the eye. Look me in the eye and tell me they're not making a team. Like right now, they're looking to finish this team out. Look me in the eye and tell me they're not. I have been wrong in accusations. I have been wrong in some of my assumptions before. Earl King Heathcliff has still not come. We're still not sure if that's going to be the ID even for Heathcliff. But this one, come on. Look at it. It's right there. All of the puzzle pieces are here, and now they're being joined together by Mersault here. And who knows? We may get another DC or Dieci ID in the next month or two, or something. Who knows? Because we're nearing. We're already kind of at the halfway point for Canto 7. I don't expect it anytime soon. I'm expecting it like August at the earliest. And even that might be a little much. I would say definitely August or September for Canto 7, but we'll see. However, we still have more to go over. The support passive, of course. Diligent Learning. When one ally with the highest max HP discards a skill, gain X times discarded skill, rank percent of the max HP as shield. If the ally has Insight, multiply the above shield value by X. Okay. Hey, if you're doing discard teams, he just gets out a free shield. That's actually really good, because a lot of the trimmer teams have discard, and they're not super great. The newer ones are kind of decent. The detective ones, the T-Corp ones, but like, I don't know. A lot of the other ones have been power crept really hard. Like Rodian straight up power crept Roast Manor Rodian. So I don't know. Maybe if you're still wanting to run your Uptie 4 Roast Manor, hey, this could do it. Or you just run the better ID, the detective one, and then you get all the bonuses anyway. So, hey, not a bad support passive. Not a bad one. And it even helps you more if you have a Dieci ID on the field, but like, well, I guess there have been cases where I'm running, very rarely. Because, you know, Rodian can be teched into any team, because I just love her that much. She's just that good of a tank, and that good of a solo character, that Dieci Rodian can be thrown on any team and just be good, for the most part. So, who knows? We'll see. Of course, Insight, we know how it works. The rank of the last skill discarded by this unit with this effect, base value 1. So you want to discard your skill 3 whenever you can. And unlike the others, instead of locking it, you want to actually spend it then. So, funnily enough, look at that. Now, erudition. This is the big thing. This is the thing that ties the whole kit together. So if this has to be good, or a lot of what I just speculated about is kind of worthless. So let's get into it. When discarding a skill, gain erudition times X% of this unit's max HP as shield. Okay, that's just the first point. That's the first thing it does, because the shield was always the strongest part, but we're just gonna do that whenever. Oh, and also, by the way, you're already getting shields on your skill 1s if you're Rodian and Mersault, and you're just gonna stack that on top of erudition. Okay. Next one, if this unit discards a skill at X plus Insight, gain Clash Power. Okay, let's give a team-wide Clash Power buff if you have Insight to the other Dieci IDs. That's really strong. Next point, reduce when taking HP damage after getting hit by an enemy's attack skill. Fair enough. So you can't stack it crazy, but by the way, you need to take HP damage after getting hit with an enemy's attack skill, which means dots don't count, as far as I'm aware. That's how I read that. And you'd have to lose a clash. So if you're at the point where you're dominating everything and winning all your clashes, you just won't lose erudition. Okay. This team is just not going to be touchable. You're not going to be able to touch this team. You're never going to be able to get this team's health down. They're just going to keep shielding. They're just going to prevent all the damage being taken. If Sinclair gets a freaking DC or Dieci ID, which I hope he does, if he doesn't, then he can still be ran with that team and just throw on the Wailing Frog to get even more shield going. Hey, you never need to heal if your team never takes damage. And then last thing, just expires when staggered. So, not perfect, of course, but wow. Erudition is actually insane as an addition to the Dieci team. I am so excited. I love the Dieci IDs. I love them. You see me run them all the time. If I can, I'll tech them in whenever I need them to. If I could run a full team of them as like an alternative support, like tanky sinking team, besides like, you know, the Butler comp, I'd be so happy. Oh, I'm actually like, this is great. I'm super ready for this. I love these IDs, so just seeing Mersault get one, and then also having it be just this bonkers BL freaking Mersault style of kit of like, hey, I'm gonna have my team get all these buffs passively by me just existing, and then I'm also gonna pass them out like freaking Dawn and have the best parts of those kits combined into one. The only thing he's missing is like, you know, like having a if there's so many DCID or Dieci IDs, do XYZ, of course, because we don't have that many. We only have 4 with this. So, hey, I think the future's looking great. But as amazing as that is, we do have one more kit to go over. I haven't already been talking for a long while, but you know what you're here for. You know what I'm here for, besides the Dieci ID. Contempt, Awe, Ryoshu. Look how incredible this ID looks, or this ego looks. People are gonna pull this ID just because of how it looks. I'm going to pull this ID this ego based on how it looks. It's incredible. The coat, the glasses, the blood sword, which is one of the coolest things I've seen in my entire life. The gloves, the gold with the red, and just like Project Moon can't miss. Project Moon cannot miss when it comes to ID, like the designs. The art team cannot miss. All right, let's get it right into it before I lose my mind more. Okay, 2 coins on this. They've been doing that more often. They're putting like more than 1 coin on egos. It's interesting because that definitely was not the design of egos for a really long time. They were only 1 coin, and then maybe the corrosion will be more than 1 coin, but usually never more than 2. But this, they're starting to just add more multi-coin egos, and I love it. It's great. Let's see. 2 coins, a lust, and we get before attack, gain highest resonance attack weight. All right, that's just really good. Before attack, gain highest resonance plus X, gaze of contempt this turn and next turn. Whatever that is. Cool. After attack, if the skill was part of a lust resonance, interesting. Gain ego resources and affinity corresponding to each of this unit's attack skills. Okay. Cool. Lust resonance. See, we don't have a lot of lust resonance in the game. It's only really like Gregor's wedding rose frickin' ego, and then Encore Faust. So cool. I mean, if you can make the lust resonance happen, that's really cool. After attack, evenly and after attack for 2 turns, lose SP a turn in. Yeah. And then after attack, evenly inflict X bleed between all targets. All targets. It's a bleed one, yeah. I mean, if you didn't get from the freaking blood sword, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but interesting. Okay. Depending on how high that is, that's a lot of bleed spread. And spreading bleed, it's really good, especially for freaking a lot of the ego gifts and some of the team comps out there. Spreading that bleed. I have a friend who runs bleed teams. He's gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna enjoy this just to look at it. Okay, like, it's not super crazy, but to be fair, I haven't also read what Gaze of Contempt does, so we'll get there. The corrosion, of course, is indiscriminate. Before the attack, you gain Gaze of Contempt, just like the other skill. If this skill was part of a Lust Resonance, this ego resource, gaining a resource infinity each of the unit's attack skills. And then, on hit, if the target has bleed, deal plus the sum of bleed potency and count % more damage. Oh my lord, that is a lot of extra damage. And then inflict X plus highest resonance times Y bleed and bleed count. Oh my lord. That's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. I mean, for a YD, the corrosion is pretty expensive. I don't usually need to corrode with Blind Obsession because they just kind of work. Same with Sun Shower. But this one, I don't know, man. You may want to corrode this one. If you might just freaking nuke something if it has like all the bleed count in the stacks. It just might die. So who knows? The ego passive, Mark of the Gaze. Whenever this unit uses a base attack skill against an enemy, gain additional ego resource for a random least owned affinity that doesn't correspond to the affinity of the attack skill used. Okay. It's just like the ego gift. That's really cool. Yeah, it's just like the ego gift, where it gives you one of something you didn't use or don't have. So it just does that passively. That's really great, actually. That's a really nice quality of life ego passive. Now, what do we have here? Gaze of Contempt. Deal more damage for every Gaze of Contempt on self. Fair enough. Turn in, this effect expires. Turn end at X Gaze of Contempt values, convert it to Contempt of the Gaze next turn instead of expiring. Okay. So you want to have this at a resonance high enough to where you meet the value to turn it into Contempt of the Gaze. I see. And you also just get another damage modifier on top of that, by the way. Okay, and what's Contempt of the Gaze? Gain protection. Gain damage down. One of the unit's skill slots gains aggro. Cannot gain Gaze of Contempt as long as Contempt of the Gaze is active. Turn in, this unit expires. Okay. So... I mean... Ugh. And I'll be honest, I don't know if I want that. Like, it basically makes Ryoshu aggro and taunt for a turn or two. And all she gets is protection and damage down. I mean, as cool as it sounds, I mean, like, I don't want Ryoshu taking hits. Ryoshu doesn't really have an ID that can take a lot of hits. Like, unless she's getting a is Ryoshu getting a Dieci ID? No. I mean, she could, but, like, that wouldn't synergize with all the bleed stuff going on, so... Maybe it's just... What I'm reading this as is maybe it is so strong and you're doing so much damage that the drawback of it is you are, like, putting yourself out there to be targeted. So, I mean... I see it. I can see it, you know, but... Yeah, okay. I mean, that's just... Not a big fan of that one. I really would... I mean, yes, it would be absolutely cracked if it was just, you know, more damage, but it's not. You know, it's just a little bit of, hey, by the way, you know, you're getting all this damage, you're getting all this bleed, you're getting all this extra damage. And if you do, you know, if you're doing too much crazy stuff, you're gonna have to just take a little bit of heat. Which, again, aggro is not the end of the world. I think anyone who runs aggro in their comp knows how unreliable it can be sometimes. Of like, enemies sometimes will just not target your aggro unit for whatever reason. So, I mean, it's not terrible, and you can obviously still, of course, you know, redirect or use frickin' the world to time stop your enemy and then clash with them that way. But I don't know. I mean, I still think it's going to be great either way. But we're going to have to wait and see, because right now, like I said, Lust Resonance isn't really a thing in a lot of comps. I mean, the Butlers have it a little bit. They have a decent amount of Lust skills. N-Corp for sure, but like, who's running an N-Corp team? For real, you're just running Faust and Sinclair. You don't need anyone else on that team. I don't know. I don't know. I think we're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, I'm still gonna get it, of course, because it's a WoW, and like those are usually all insane. So I'm sure this is gonna be insane, and its benefits are gonna way outweigh the freaking downsides. If they are downsides, who knows? But right now, that's what I've got for you. Really great stuff today. Of course, like me, I'm typically way more excited about IDs than I am about egos, because of course the ID is what you're building teams around. It's what makes up your teams. It's what you engage with most in the gameplay. So that is what I personally enjoy more. So personally, as much as I love the design and I think it's super cool and probably one of the best designed egos in the game, as much as I'm hyped for Ryoshu, you know, I'm probably gonna be like more so gunning for a Mersault, but I will be getting both, of course, because I want them both. But that is what I have to say for today. Somehow these videos always end up coming out to nearly a half hour. Sorry about that. I hope you don't mind. But I don't know. I just love going into talking about things and theorizing and doing all that stuff. And I'm a person who loves throwing on a video in the background to listen to. So if you do the same with me, I appreciate you all the same. I'm right there with you. But with that, that is our kit reveal for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye!